The night was silent. Too silent. Dark clouds covered the sky like a heavy blanket, and cold rain fell on the empty road. The world seemed asleep, except for a lonely cry that echoed through the storm. A silver spaceship slowly descended from the clouds, its lights blinking like stars. It landed beside the road, leaving a trail of smoke and strange blue fire. The door opened with a hiss and a tall alien woman stepped out. Her eyes were cold, her face sharp like ice. In her arms she carried a small baby, a baby with silver skin and soft glowing eyes. The baby cried, but the woman didn't look down with love. Instead, she whispered in a cruel voice, "You are a mistake. A burden." She placed the baby on the wet road and looked around one last time. "No one will find you here," she said. "And even if they do, you don't deserve to live among us." Her words were like knives cutting through the rain. She turned back, climbed into her ship, and in seconds, the spaceship rose into the sky and disappeared among the thunderclouds. Now there was only silence again. And the crying of the little alien child. Her small hands moved weakly. Her glowing eyes dimmed with every breath. Cold wind touched her face and rain covered her small body. She didn't know where she was. She didn't know why she was alone. But fate was not ready to end her story that night. Far down the same road, a man named Eli was walking home. He was poor. His clothes were torn, his shoes wet with mud, but his heart was kind. He worked every night at a factory, fixing old machines, dreaming of a better life. The rain hit his face, but he kept walking. Then he heard it, a sound, a cry, not like a human baby's cry, softer, echoing, almost musical. Eli stopped. He looked around, confused. "Is someone there?" he called out. The cry came again, from behind an old broken signboard near the road. He moved closer, heart beating fast. When he saw the small figure lying there, his eyes widened. It was a baby, but not like any baby he had ever seen. Her skin was silver blue. Her eyes glowed faintly like starlight trapped inside. For a moment, Eli was too shocked to move. What are you?" he whispered softly. The baby looked up at him. Her tiny hand reached out, touching his finger. Her skin was warm, alive. Something inside Eli's chest changed in that moment. He didn't see an alien. He saw a child, small, helpless, and alone in the rain. He took off his old jacket and wrapped her inside it. "Don't cry," he said gently. "You're safe now." The baby stopped crying, almost as if she understood. Eli looked at the sky. No spaceship, no sound, nothing but clouds. Whoever left her was long gone. He sighed. "Who would leave a baby in this storm?" He looked at her again. Her glowing eyes blinked slowly. "All right," he said softly, smiling for the first time that night. "You can stay with me. I don't have much, but I have a heart." He carried her carefully and started walking. The rain kept falling, but it didn't feel cold anymore. The baby made a soft humming sound, a strange alien lullaby, and Eli listened. He didn't understand the words, but somehow, they made him feel peaceful. As they walked through the fog, lightning flashed across the sky. For a moment, the baby's face glowed brighter, and strange symbols shimmered across her blanket. Eli noticed but thought it was his tired eyes playing tricks. He whispered to her, "We'll call you Luna, because you shine like the moon." The baby blinked as if agreeing. Far above them in the dark sky, something moved. Two red lights watched from the clouds, aimed silent, observing, recording. Somewhere far away, a voice spoke through static. "The child has been left, but someone has found her. Track initiated." Eli didn't know that his life had just changed forever. He walked home through the rain, holding the little alien girl close to his chest. He didn't care who she was or where she came from. He only knew one thing. She was his now, and as thunder rolled in the distance, Luna's eyes opened again. For a moment, her pupils turned into tiny stars. A new story had begun, one that would soon decide the fate of both worlds. Years passed since that stormy night. The little alien girl, now called Luna, grew up in Eli's small wooden house at the edge of a quiet town. The house was old. Its roof sometimes leaked during rain, and the floor creaked with every step. But inside there was warmth, the warmth of care, kindness, and something Luna had never known before: love. Eli worked hard every day at the metal factory. His hands were rough, his clothes always dusty, but when he came home and saw Luna's smile, his tiredness melted away. He often told her stories while sitting by the fire, stories about stars, humans, and dreams. Luna listened with wide eyes that shimmered faintly in the dark. Sometimes she would ask softly, "Papa, have you ever seen the stars up close?" Eli smiled. "No, Luna, but I have you. And that's close enough." Luna was different, but she never scared Eli. Her skin glowed softly at night, and when she was sad, strange blue lights appeared around her. Once, when she laughed too much, spoons in the kitchen started floating. Eli had been shocked at first, but then he simply said, "You'll break fewer plates if you learn to control it." He didn't treat her like something strange, he treated her like a gift, but the world outside was not as kind. The neighbors had started to notice things. They whispered when Luna walked by. "Her eyes glow," said one woman. "She never gets sick," said another. "And did you see how that old man protects her?" "There's something wrong there." Eli tried to ignore the talk, but Luna could hear their voices. She felt the fear in their eyes, the way they pulled their children away when she passed. Sometimes she sat alone under the tree behind the house, staring at her reflection in a small pond. Her reflection didn't look human, and deep down she knew she wasn't. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Luna asked, "Papa, who am I really?" Eli was silent for a moment. He took a deep breath and brought out a small, worn-out box from his old cabinet. Inside was the blanket she was wrapped in the night he found her. It was dark silver, covered with strange glowing symbols that changed slowly, like they were alive. "I found you with this," Eli said softly. "I don't know what these symbols mean, but they feel special." Luna touched the fabric, and for a moment the symbols lit up brighter. A soft hum filled the room like music from faraway stars. "Maybe you came from the sky," Eli whispered. "But that doesn't matter. You're my daughter. That's what matters." Luna smiled through her tears. For a moment she forgot the whispers and the fear. She just felt safe. That night something strange happened. As Luna slept, her body began to glow brighter than ever before. Her hair floated slightly, and her eyes moved under her eyelids. She was dreaming, but not like a normal dream. In her mind she saw lights, cities in the clouds, and tall figures speaking a language she somehow understood. Then she saw a face, cold, sharp, familiar. The cruel woman who had left her on that rainy road. "Mother," Luna whispered in her dream. The woman's face appeared closer, whispering, "You are being watched, my child. They will come for you soon." Luna gasped and woke up, sweat on her face, her room glowing blue. The blanket symbols were shining again. She ran to Eli's room and shook his shoulder. "Papa, someone is watching us." Eli woke up instantly. "What do you mean?" "I saw her, the woman who left me. She said they're coming." Eli frowned. "It was just a dream, Luna." But when he looked outside the window, his heart skipped a beat. Far away on the hill across the road, a small red light blinked. Once, twice, then vanished. He didn't tell Luna. He didn't want to scare her. But he knew something wasn't right. The next morning, as Luna helped him in the yard, an old radio on the shelf started making static noises. A robotic voice came through the signal, faint but clear. "Target location confirmed. Prepare extraction." Eli froze. Luna looked at him confused. "Papa, what's that?" "Nothing, Luna, just old radio noise." But his hands were shaking. That night he packed a small bag quietly. Food, water, money, and the silver blanket. He looked at the sleeping girl and whispered, "They're coming, Luna. But I'll keep you safe." Outside in the forest beyond their home, a drone hovered silently. Its red lens glowed as it recorded Luna's sleeping face. Then it flew back into the night sky. The hunt had begun. Morning sunlight touched the edge of the small wooden house. Birds sang softly, but inside everything felt tense and quiet. Eli hadn't slept much. He kept thinking about the strange voice from the radio, the red light on the hill, and Luna's dream about her stepmother. Something was coming, and he could feel it. Luna was outside, sitting under the tree near the pond. Her fingers moved gently across the water, and small circles of light followed her touch. The water shimmered like liquid glass. She was smiling, unaware of Eli's worried eyes watching her through the window. He whispered to himself, "You deserve a safe life, kid, but the world doesn't understand magic." Later that day, Eli decided to take Luna to town. She needed new clothes, and he wanted to see if anyone was asking strange questions. The town was small and quiet, full of curious faces. As they walked through the narrow streets, Luna noticed posters with the words, Report unusual activity. Protect humanity. She stopped and looked at Eli. Papa, does this mean people are afraid? He nodded slowly. Sometimes people fear what they don't understand. They entered a small shop. The shopkeeper, an old woman, looked at Luna and froze for a moment. Her eyes narrowed. She looks different, the woman whispered. Eli forced a smile. Just a little sunburn, he joked. But the woman didn't laugh. She stared until Eli paid quickly and left. Outside, Luna could feel it, the coldness in people's stares. It wasn't just curiosity anymore. It was suspicion. That night, as they returned home, the air felt strange. The wind was stronger. The moon glowed red behind the clouds. Luna felt something calling her, a voice inside her head. Luna, find the light. The truth waits for you. She turned to Eli. Papa, did you hear that? He frowned. Hear what? She shook her head. Never mind. When they reached home, Luna went to her room and sat with the strange silver blanket. The symbols on it started to move again, glowing brighter than ever before. She touched one of them and suddenly her room filled with light. The air shimmered. A holographic image appeared. A tall alien woman with glowing white eyes. Her voice was soft but powerful. My child, if you see this message, you have survived. Luna's eyes widened. Mother? She whispered. The woman continued. Your stepmother betrayed our family. She feared your gift and the power to unite worlds. I hid this message in your blanket. One day you must choose to return home or protect the world that saved you. The light flickered and the image started to fade. No, wait, Luna cried. Who am I really? But the hologram disappeared, leaving only silence and the sound of her quick breaths. Eli rushed in, his face pale.
What happened?
Luna turned to him, tears in her eyes. Papa, she was here. My real mother. She spoke to me. Eli looked at the glowing blanket and shook his head. This isn't a dream anymore, is it? Suddenly they heard a loud thud outside, like something heavy landing on the ground. The lights in the house flickered. Eli peeked through the window and saw strange shadows moving in the trees. Small red dots glowed in the dark, eyes or machines he couldn't tell. Luna, he whispered, pack your things, now. She froze. Are they here for me? He didn't answer, but his silence was enough. They rushed outside through the back door. The night air was sharp, full of whispers and static. In the distance, black drones hovered above the trees, scanning the area. One of them spotted movement, and beams of red light shot across the ground. Eli grabbed Luna's hand. Run! They ran through the forest, branches scratching their skin, mud under their feet. Luna could hear the machines behind them, cold, fast, mechanical. Fear grew inside her chest, but something else grew too. Power. Her hands began to glow. A force like wind burst from her palms, knocking down trees and sending the drones crashing to the ground. Eli stopped and stared in shock. Luna, how did you— I don't know, she shouted. It just happened. They finally reached an old cave at the edge of the valley and hid inside. Eli's heart was racing. Luna sat beside him, trembling. Papa, they're going to find us. He looked at her, his face tired but gentle. Let them come. I won't lose you. Outside, the forest burned with red light. The agents scanned every inch, their voices echoing through radios. Target detected. Alien signal confirmed. Prepare containment. Luna pressed her glowing hands together and whispered, I won't go with them. At that moment, deep inside the cave, the silver blanket began to glow once again, brighter than ever before, revealing a new symbol Eli had never seen. It was a map to where she truly came from. The night was alive with sound, not the sound of nature, but of machines. Engines hummed in the dark sky. Red lights cut through the mist. The forest that once protected Luna and Eli now looked like a cage. Keep moving, Eli whispered, gripping Luna's hand tightly. His breath came out in quick gasps. The air was cold and heavy with fear. Behind them, the forest floor shook. A dark aircraft hovered above the trees, scanning the ground with beams of red light. Luna's heart pounded in her chest. Every step echoed louder than thunder. Her glowing eyes reflected the fear of being hunted, but also the strength she didn't yet understand. Papa, she whispered. Why are they after me? Eli didn't answer right away. He glanced back. A flash of red light narrowly missed them, burning the trunk of a tree. They want what they don't have, he said, pulling her forward. And you're something they don't understand. They ran until the forest opened into a wide, rocky valley. The moonlight fell on the ground, showing broken stones and dry soil. In the distance stood an old bridge, half broken, hanging above a dark river. "We'll cross there," Eli shouted. Luna nodded, but before they reached the bridge, a low voice came from behind. "Stop running, human. You have something that belongs to us." They turned. A tall figure stepped out of the shadows, a man in a black uniform wearing a mask that glowed faint red. Behind him, 2 drones hovered, their weapons ready. Eli stepped in front of Luna, holding a metal rod he found nearby. His hands shook, but his voice didn't. "She's not yours." The man tilted his head. "She's not yours either. She is classified property. Alien subject A-17. Luna's eyes filled with tears. "I'm not a subject." "Then prove it," the man replied, raising his weapon. Before he could shoot, a bright pulse of energy exploded from Luna's body. The ground cracked beneath her feet. The air shimmered. The man and his drones were thrown backward as a wave of blue light swept through the valley. Eli shielded his eyes. When the light faded, Luna stood in the middle of the smoke and glowing like a small star. "Luna," Eli whispered, amazed and terrified at the same time. She turned to him, trembling. "I didn't mean to. It just happened." He walked toward her slowly. "You saved us, but the danger wasn't over." More aircraft appeared above, their searchlights sweeping the valley. Luna looked up. She could hear a voice again, soft and distant, echoing inside her mind. "Run, my child. The time is not right. Find the mountain of mirrors, Papa," she shouted. "We have to go to the mountains." Eli frowned. "What mountains?" "I don't know. But someone told me." In my head. He didn't question her. He had learned to trust the impossible. They ran across the bridge, the wood cracking under their feet. Behind them, red lasers sliced through the darkness. One beam hit the bridge and it exploded in a shower of fire and dust. The shockwave threw them forward. Eli rolled on the ground, coughing. Luna got up first and helped him to his feet. He smiled weakly. "You're stronger than you look, kid." She looked at him with tears in her eyes. "I'm only strong because of you." They kept walking until dawn. When the sun rose, they reached a small abandoned village at the edge of the valley. The houses were broken, but one of them still had a roof. They hid inside. Eli collapsed on the floor, exhausted. His arm was bleeding from a deep cut. Luna ripped a piece of her blanket and tied it around his wound. "You'll be okay," she said softly. He looked at her, her glowing eyes, her worried face, and smiled faintly. "You're just like your mother, aren't you?" Luna looked up. "You knew her?" He shook his head. "No, but I can see her in you, brave, kind, and dangerous." Outside, the air grew heavy again. The sound of engines echoed faintly. Luna closed her eyes and whispered, "They're still searching." Eli nodded. "Then we keep moving. You said something about the mountain of mirrors. We'll find it." She touched the silver blanket, and for a moment the symbols rearranged themselves into a glowing map. A line of light pointed north, toward the horizon where sharp peaks touched the clouds. "That's where we go," she said. Before they left, Luna looked around the ruined village one last time. On one of the walls, she noticed an old painting, a picture of the night sky with strange patterns drawn among the stars. Her eyes widened. The shapes were the same symbols from her blanket. She turned to Eli. "This place, someone from my world has been here before." He looked at her, surprised. "Then maybe this isn't the first time your kind came to Earth." Luna's face grew serious. "And maybe it won't be the last." As they walked away, the sun rose higher, painting the sky gold. Behind them, a black ship landed in the ruins. The masked man stepped out again, staring at the footprints on the ground. "She's stronger than we thought," he said coldly. "Send the signal. The stepmother will want to know her daughter survived." The mountains stretched before them like silent giants. Snow glittered on their peaks and cold wind whispered secrets through the trees. Eli and Luna walked side by side, their footprints the only sign of life on the narrow trail. They had been running for days, sleeping in caves, drinking from streams, hiding from the red lights that searched the skies at night. Eli's steps were slow now. The wound on his arm had grown worse, but he said nothing. He didn't want Luna to worry. She already carried too much on her small shoulders. "Papa," Luna said softly, "the map is leading us here. I can feel it." Her silver eyes glowed faintly in the thin light. The blanket around her shimmered with moving symbols, alive, guiding her forward like a compass made of stars. Eli nodded weakly. Then we follow it, one step at a time. By evening, they reached a hidden valley surrounded by sharp cliffs. In the center stood a strange structure, half stone, half metal, shaped like a tower reaching toward the sky. It looked ancient yet alive. Symbols like those on Luna's blanket pulsed across its surface. "This is it," Luna whispered. "The Mountain of Mirrors." They stepped closer. As Luna touched the surface of the tower, it rippled like water. A beam of light scanned her body from head to toe. The ground trembled and the structure began to open, revealing a glowing chamber inside. Eli held her hand tightly, his eyes wide with fear and wonder. "Do we go in?" he asked. Luna looked at him and nodded. "Yes, this is where my mother's message wanted me to come." Inside, the walls shone like glass, reflecting hundreds of images. Luna's face, Eli's face, stars and faraway worlds. In the center floated a crystal sphere glowing softly. As Luna approached, the air filled with a soft humming sound. Then a familiar voice echoed through the room. "My child, you have come far." A holographic figure appeared from the crystal, a tall alien woman with kind eyes and silver skin. Luna's heart jumped. "Mother?" The woman smiled gently. "Yes, my daughter. I am Queen Sorella of the Alaris people. You were born among the stars, destined to unite our kind and the humans. But your stepmother feared that destiny." Eli stepped forward slowly. "Her stepmother? She's the one who left her on the road." The queen's expression darkened. "Yes, my sister Vora. She wanted power. She betrayed our people and sold our secrets to the humans who hunt you now. When I learned of her plan, I hid this message and sent you away to save your life." Luna's eyes filled with tears. "But why Earth? Why him?" She looked at Eli. "Because," the queen said softly, "I saw him. The human with a broken life but a pure heart. He was the only one who would protect you, even without knowing who you were." Eli blinked in shock. "You saw me?" The queen nodded. "Across time and stars. You were chosen, Eli, not by power but by kindness." Suddenly, the crystal began to flicker. The queen's voice turned urgent. "They have found you. The tower's signal is no longer hidden. You must go, now." Luna reached out. "Wait. Tell me how to stop them. How do I protect Earth?" The queen's form began to fade. "You carry the heart of Alaris inside you, my child. It is both a gift and a weapon. Use it only when love is stronger than fear." Her image vanished, leaving silence behind. Luna turned to Eli, her hands shaking. "She's gone." Eli placed his hand on her shoulder. "No, Luna, she's not gone. She's inside you." Outside, thunder rolled through the mountains. Black ships appeared in the sky, their engines rumbling like angry beasts. Red lights flashed against the cliffs. "They found us," Eli said, his voice low. "Run!" Luna looked back at the tower. The crystal at its core started to glow again, brighter and brighter. "No," she whispered. "We can't run anymore." She stepped out of the cave and faced the ships above. Her eyes began to glow like twin stars. The wind howled around her, lifting her hair and the silver blanket that wrapped her shoulders. Eli watched in awe as a sphere of blue energy formed around her. "Luna, what are you doing?" "I'm not running," she said calmly. "I'm remembering who I am." The sky cracked open with light. The ships froze midair. The red beams aimed at her turned white, then vanished. Luna's voice echoed across the valley, soft but powerful. "I am Luna of Alaris. I will not let fear rule either world." A wave of light burst from her body, spreading across the sky. The ships trembled and disappeared in flashes of blue fire. Then the light faded and the valley grew silent again. Eli ran to her, catching her as she fell to her knees. She looked up at him weakly, smiling. "Papa, I think I understand now. Being human doesn't mean where you're born. It means how you love," he smiled, tears in his eyes. "And you, Luna, are more human than anyone I've ever met." Snow drifted quietly across the valley as dawn broke. Smoke still rose from the wreckage of the fallen ships, curling into the pale sky. The Mountain of Mirrors stood silent once again. But something had changed. The air itself felt alive, humming softly as if the stars were whispering secrets to the earth. Luna sat beside the edge of the tower, her silver blanket wrapped around her shoulders. Her glow was dim now, her energy spent from the battle. Eli sat near her, his arm bandaged, eyes full of pride and worry. He had seen her destroy ships with light, silence machines with her voice, and yet She still looked like a fragile girl beside him. "Papa," she said quietly, "do you think they'll come again?" Eli looked at the sky. "People like that always come again, but now you're not the same scared child they were chasing." She smiled weakly. "I don't feel scared anymore. I feel ready." But just as the words left her mouth, a deep rumble echoed through the mountains. The clouds above twisted unnaturally, glowing with red light. A beam cut through the sky, landing near the ruins. Luna's eyes widened. She knew that presence. The air filled with static, and from the fire emerged a tall figure cloaked in black armor. Her stepmother. Vora's eyes were sharp, her skin the same silver hue as Luna's but darker, marked with lines of red energy. She looked at Luna with cold amusement. "So," she said, her voice calm but venomous, "the child I abandoned grew teeth." Eli stood in front of Luna instinctively, holding a broken metal rod. "Stay back!" Vora tilted her head. "You must be the human who kept my mistake alive. How sentimental." Luna stepped forward, her voice trembling but steady. "You left me to die." Vora's eyes narrowed. "Because you were born of weakness. My sister believed in love and peace. I believed in strength. Only the powerful deserve to rule." "You're wrong," Luna said softly. "My mother believed in kindness, and that's what makes us strong." Vora laughed, a cruel echoing sound. "Kindness? Look around you, child. Your kindness killed my ships, destroyed my soldiers, and exposed our existence to humans. You think you saved them? You've doomed both worlds." Vora raised her hand and red lightning crackled between her fingers. The ground shook. Eli pulled Luna back, but she pushed him gently aside. "Papa, I have to do this." Her eyes glowed, and the air shimmered with blue light. Vora's lightning met Luna's energy in midair, colliding with a sound like thunder. The shockwave sent snow flying in all directions. Eli fell to the ground, shielding his eyes. When he looked up, the two figures were surrounded by swirling storms of red and blue. Darkness and light locked in a dance of power. Vora shouted, "You don't belong to these humans." "You belong to us and to me," Luna replied, her voice echoing through the valley. "I belong to no one. Not to your hate. Not to your fear," Vora charged, but Luna closed her eyes. Instead of fighting, she spread her arms and let the light expand from her heart. The energy around her turned soft, warm, filled with memories of laughter, of Eli's stories, of her mother's face. The red lightning dissolved when it touched her light. Vora screamed as the warmth surrounded her. "What is this? What are you doing?" Luna stepped closer. "I'm showing you what you forgot, love." Vora fell to her knees, her armor cracking. Her red glow faded into dim gray. For the first time, she looked small, lost. "I only wanted to protect our people," she whispered. "And you can," Luna said gently. "But not through fear. Through hope." The light faded. The storm stopped. The valley became silent again. Luna stood over her stepmother, who now looked exhausted and broken. Eli approached carefully. "Is she gone?" Luna shook her head. "No, just changed." Vora looked up at Eli and said quietly, "You cared for her when I could not." Eli nodded. "She taught me what caring means." A faint smile touched Vora's lips. "Then maybe she truly is her mother's daughter." Her form began to dissolve into light, a final gift, perhaps forgiveness. And then she was gone, carried away by the wind. Luna turned to Eli, tears shining in her eyes. "It's over," he smiled, tired but happy. "Maybe now you can live, not as someone hiding, but as who you really are." Luna looked at the sky where the first rays of sunrise broke through the clouds. "I'll stay, Papa. I'll protect this world, our world." Eli laughed softly. "You sound like a hero," she smiled. "No, I just sound like your daughter." They walked back toward the valley as morning light warmed the snow. Above them, the sky shimmered faintly with a trail of blue, her mother's light watching from afar. That night, far away beyond the stars, in the throne room of Alaris, the ancient council received a signal. The lost princess was alive, but instead of fear or anger, they felt something new. Hope. The world was quiet again. Weeks had passed since the battle in the mountains. Weeks since the sky had burned with light and darkness. Now spring had returned and green spread across the valleys where snow once slept. The humans in nearby towns spoke in whispers about that night. A storm of light. A voice from the heavens, they said. But no one truly knew the truth. Only two souls did, Eli and Luna. They had returned to their small wooden house at the edge of town. It was old and broken, but it felt like home again. Luna helped Eli fix the roof, paint the walls, and plant flowers around the porch. She laughed when he teased her about using her powers for chores. "Don't," Eli said one morning as he watched a broom sweep itself across the floor. "That's cheating," Luna grinned. "It's called efficiency, Papa." For the first time in years, peace had settled around them. But deep inside, Luna felt something stirring. A quiet call, a pull from the stars above. At night, she would sit by the window staring at the sky. The same sky that once brought her fear now felt like a promise. One evening, as the sunset turned the clouds golden, a faint hum filled the air. Luna stood up suddenly. Her blanket, the silver one with glowing symbols on it, began to shimmer again. The markings shifted into a new pattern she had never seen before. Eli looked at her, concerned. "What is it?" She touched the blanket. "It's a message. From them." The light from the blanket projected into the air, forming a holographic image. A tall alien woman surrounded by other figures. Luna's heart skipped a beat. It was the Council of Alaris. Their voices blended like music. "Princess Luna of Alaris," the voice said gently, "we have seen your act of mercy. You did what our armies could not. You brought peace through compassion. You have reminded us of what our kind forgot long ago." Luna's eyes glistened. "So, you're not angry?" "No, child," the voice replied. "You are our bridge, the bond between our stars and their world. If you wish, you may return home. The skies are open for you." Eli's face grew heavy. He looked away, pretending to busy himself with his tools. Luna walked over and knelt beside him. "Papa, what do I do?" He smiled sadly. "You already know the answer." She hesitated. "If I leave, you'll be alone?" He shook his head. "No, Luna, you gave me a reason to live. That's more than enough. You have a destiny, one that started long before I found you." The next morning, they walked together to the hill behind their house, the same place where Eli had first found her as a baby. The sun rose slowly, painting the horizon in shades of gold. Luna turned to him. "Do you remember that night?" He chuckled. "How could I forget? I thought you were a ghost." She smiled softly. "And yet you still picked me up." He nodded. "Because you were crying, because no one deserves to be left in the cold." For a moment they stood in silence. The wind carried the smell of rain and earth. Luna reached into her pocket and pulled out a small glowing stone, the heart of Alaris, the gift her mother had spoken of. It pulsed gently in her hand like a heartbeat. She placed it in Eli's palm. "Keep this. It will always guide you when you look at the stars." He closed his fingers around it, tears filling his eyes. "I'll keep it safe, always." A soft hum filled the sky. A ship descended, sleek, silver, alive with blue light. The air shimmered as it landed nearby. Luna turned to Eli one last time. "Thank you for everything," she said. He smiled through his tears. "No, Luna, thank you. You reminded me that love doesn't need to come from the same blood. It comes from the same heart." Luna hugged him tightly. The warmth between them said everything words couldn't. Then, with one last look, she stepped onto the ship. The door closed. The engines glowed. As the ship lifted into the sky, Eli raised his hand, watching it disappear among the clouds. A single beam of blue light fell from the ship, landing in the field nearby. A final gift. When he walked to it, he found a single flower glowing softly in the grass. Its petals shimmered like starlight. He smiled. "You really are my little moon." Years later, people in town would tell stories of a mysterious woman who sometimes appeared in the night sky, her silhouette glowing among the stars. They called her the Star Guardian, a protector who watched over both worlds. But Eli knew the truth. She wasn't a guardian from the stars. She was the little girl he once found crying on a cold road, the one he taught to smile, to care, to be human. And somewhere beyond the galaxies, Luna stood on a grand balcony of the Alaris capital, looking down at her new home. But her heart still belonged to a small house under Earth's blue sky. She whispered softly, as her mother once did. "Sometimes the poorest heart carries the richest love, and even the smallest light can guide two worlds."